Hey, Paint and Persevere Club. Oh my gosh, we are live with our very first special guest artist. Welcome, Toni. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so
Yes,
excited.
oh my gosh, we are so excited. This is going to be so much fun. Y'all, like when I started this, I am so big on um like getting other people's stories and testimonies out there. Hey Becky, how are you? I'm just so big on getting other people's stories and testimonies out there, including yours. And
Yay.
this is one way that I know how to do it. And so I'm so grateful that you agreed to come and share with us tonight and do a painting with us. I cannot wait. It's gonna be so fun. So tell us just a little bit about yourself so we know who we're talking to your
Okay.
painting.
Okay. I am Toni Landis with the Painted Roadrunner. And I actually met Dana just even, I guess it was a little over a month ago at Paint Party Business Live. And I've known her and heard her story many times on Paint Party headquarters. So I just immediately connected with her story. And while she's a lot younger than I am, I can connect with her in her story. So when she asked me if I would want to do this, I was like, yes, yes, yes. I'm so honored. Thank you for having me. And I'm just honored to be here with all of you, like to get here to paint with you and to share a little bit about me. I did not find painting until I was 53, almost 54. I'm now 58. And I struggled with wanting to find a purpose. I wanted 10 kids. I didn't get any children. So I thought my purpose was going to be wrapped up in being a mom. So when that didn't happen, it threw me for a loop for many, many years. So to fast forward, I found painting. I did a challenge and I was hooked. And painting is therapeutic. I wish I'd had it many years. I struggled with depression and anxiety, but it's more than painting. God has used this so that I can tell my testimony. I can share what he's about, because you guys, I wouldn't be standing before you right now without him. Like literally would not be here. I would not, and I would have missed out on all the wonderful things he now has for me if I'd given up when I was ready to give up many years ago. So when I could be in paint and persevere in paint, let me say that 3 times. But when I could come to you guys and paint with you and share a little Jesus, that is my jam. And I'm so excited when I get to do that, because it excites me that we have hope and in him alone. I mean, like our world can be crashing. Things can happen. I'm not going to lie. This week's been a challenge, but he's always there. And I struggled many years with anxiety and depression. So all that to say is I found painting. When I'm very stressed out, I can just come in here, pick up a paintbrush, and literally it feels like that it just takes my blood pressure down like all kinds of notches. So
Right.
it is more about painting for me. Than I love to share painting. There's probably some of you that, I mean, probably many people can paint better than I am, but this is the avenue that I believe God has given me to spread the truth of what he has for us, and that he does have a purpose for each and every one of us. There were
Amen.
many years where I could pray heaven down for you, and I was the greatest prayer warrior for a lot of people, but I wouldn't believe he had the things he had for me. I wouldn't believe for me. I can believe for you all day long, but I wouldn't believe for me. But and I'll tell you later when we're painting a little bit more about that. But when I turned around to him and said, I'm going to start believing for me, I'm going to start watching how I talk about myself, then life really changed for me in a lot of wonderful ways. So, and now I get to be here on Dana's page and with all of you. So it's like, it's coming full circle. So
Yeah.
I just
Well,
want
this
to,
is just the beginning too. Like,
oh, I know. I'm so excited because I just want to encourage each one of you, wherever you are. We're
mhm.
all at different places. But God's going to meet you right where you are. He's not going to ask you to, He's going to meet you right where you are in whatever circumstance you are. So I've had this feeling all week when I get live, if you're at that point where you're just like, I don't think He has anything for me, keep believing, keep moving forward. And I promise you, He does. I promise.
Amen. Is there a part of a worship song? I cannot think of the name of it at the second, but it's an elevation worship song, and they say,
I love elevation.
If I'm not dead, then He's not done.
Yes.
And it's the truth. And so
I've
heard several people, especially like older women, who are telling me like, oh, it's too late for that. No. It is
I am starting a business at 58 years old. I mean, it is never too late for God to do in you what He wanted to do. See, He had things for me, but I made world choices, and I made choices. So it kind of took me probably off course more than I want to admit. Mm-hmm. But guess what? The good news is, ladies, even when we don't make the choices He wants us to, He's still going to get us back on track no matter what age we are. He's still going to get us there. So yes, that's the good news.
In all of those bad choices, He uses all things for good. So even when we screw up, He can turn it around into a positive. Even when we don't even see it or feel like it, like He will just completely change it all around and just, like you said, get us back on track.
I cried for years because I wanted children, and I was like, I knew if I didn't have children, that meant I wouldn't have grandchildren. So it just was a heartbreak over and over every shower, so long story short, when I did meet my husband, he had 2 grown children, a girl and a boy. Mm-hmm. And when she got married and then started having babies, I just looked up and went, man, God, you really did have a plan. I got to skip children and go straight to grandchildren. So you have to look at things. My choices did maybe get me with the wrong people and do the wrong things. And, but He got me back to where I have such a blessed life, and I would not have had that if I'd given up when I wanted to give up.
Amen. And now you're being obedient, and it just makes everything fall into place even more.
Obedience is the key to all of what He has for us. Obedience. When He asks us to do something, and when He asks us to live for Him, He really wants that obedience. And I still remember the moment that I turned from a relationship that I knew was not of God, and I walked out of that relationship into obedience, and God has been blessing my socks off ever since. I mean, like blessing my socks off. So
yes,
there you go. I can talk about Jesus all day long.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be so fun. Okay, well, let's go on and start getting into painting, because I know everybody's here like waiting to paint. But we are definitely going to continue this conversation as we go. So
and I can't see comments, so I will go back later. And so if you see comments and you want to ask me anything, just ask me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ask comments. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on comments for y'all. And then I'm going to put the screen on her so that you can see a little bit better. Let me put this right here. Okay. All right, there we go, girl. All right, let me get rid of the banners too. That way y'all can see everything really well. And if anybody has any questions or any comments and that you want to say something to Toni, let me know. Put it in the comments. Make sure that you if you see in the description on Facebook where it says to click the link to let StreamYard show your name. Like otherwise I won't know who's commenting. So Becky, you're already good, girl. I see you in here. Becky says
hi, Becky.
She says, we're so blessed to have you and your encouragement, Toni. I can relate to you in so many ways.
Oh, thank you, Becky. You've already been such a big encouragement to me, even in your comments. So I appreciate you being here for sure.
Yes. All right, you guys. Well, let's go on and get started. Okay. Toni, you've got the floor, girlfriend.
Okay. I'm using just an 8x10 canvas board, you guys, from Artist Loft. just because I have a whole bunch of them. And you can use 11 by 14. You can even adapt this to whatever size you want to do. I just provided the tracer for, and to be honest, you guys, I mean, these are little wonky pumpkins. They're not like, so I'm going to trace real quick for you guys. I'm sure y'all all know how to trace, but I'm just going to put this little paper on here real quick. I'm just going to put this on my little board. And I have a little tool that came with my carbon paper, and it looks like this, has a bigger round edge or a smaller. So I'm just going to do this really fast, you guys. Nothing. I'm just going to follow these lines, and I'm just going to do it really fast. Now, if I want to change these pumpkins, we surely can. So if y'all have yours traced, or if you are doing it now, now would be a good time to do that. But if you want to freehand your pumpkin, you guys, I want to encourage you. The more you trace a template, the more it gets into your muscle memory. And the more, I could not draw a stick figure. I'm not even joking. In 2019, in March, when I started painting, I couldn't even draw a stick figure. And I traced templates for about a year. And then I sat down one day and could sketch. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been able to draw. So that was just, and I always believed the lie that you had to be born to be able to create and paint. And that is not the truth. The truth is, anything you want to do bad enough, if you practice, you will just get better and better and better. And I had just gotten married, just finally at 50 found the man that God had for me. And I just practiced solid. I mean, I just painted every time I could and drew every time I could. So now we have our design on here. And again, you can make this any which way you want. I kind of made it a little fatter, which I kind of like my pumpkins a little bit rounder. So I think it was Becky that had her pumpkins. I think it was Becky had her pumpkins. They looked really good. I think it was Becky. I'm not sure. But I'm going to show y'all a few things. I gave you a list of colors, and I'll tell you the colors as I go. This is Sweet Mint by Deco Art. This is Bluegrass Green, Light Buttermilk, and Snow White Titanium for right now. And then the list of colors. But I want to encourage you guys, when someone gives you paint colors and you go, well, that doesn't really match anything, or that's really not my favorite colors, I want to encourage you guys, in life, we don't all like the same thing. We don't all like the same colors. Use the colors you love. These colors speak to me. This is my favorite color. Purple used to be my favorite color. It's still one of my favorites. But I started loving these two when I started painting. So I do use them a lot. So this is what we're going to do. I'm just going to, first of all, I'm going to show you. You don't have to have all these palette knives tonight. This is a set of palette knives I bought. They're just different sizes, different shapes. You can see that big one. I haven't even used those yet. This is the set I use the most, and I bought them off of Amazon for like $5 or $4.97 or something like that. They may be a little bit more now, but these are the set I use the most, and actually this is the one I use all the time. But the good news is they also have this little set at Dollar Tree Plus, and this is like, you guys, if you'll look at this, it looks like a knife from a fast food place. So you can actually, I was going to show y'all that, and I have used the last one out of our stash, but I also want to show you how we can use the plasticware from your local fast food places. Got plastic on that one. So it's just whatever you want to use whenever we do the palette knife. You can also, I can show you a gift card. You can use an old gift card or an old credit card. You guys, you can use the edge of anything. Use the edge of a postcard. You could use edge of a business card. I mean, anything. So we're just going to get started on our And I'm going to leave out my plastic ones. Because I'm going to show y'all this one. It is like a plastic knife that comes in the plasticware. So I'm going to leave that one out. And I'm just going to take this 1-inch flat. It's a 1-inch flat. So can you see that? It's just, and all we're going to do is just, get our background, our top part. All we're going to do is this top part. And we're just going to get it on there, you guys. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to load up my brush. I'm going to put some of that color. But then, and I'm just going to kind of get some of this on here real quick. But I'm going to show you something in just a minute, how we're going to kind of, and I'm just doing X's, you guys. I'm just doing X's. But then I'm going to take a little bit of this. And I'm just going back and forth. If you don't want it blended a lot, I'm just going to do like this. And I'm just going to do X's. And let's say that's really dark. Just keep on going and get it on your canvas. I like to do my edges, so that's up to you guys. But I'm going to get this on here really fast. In fact, I may just go ahead and do the edges real fast so y'all can see that. I'm just going to do it right here. So y'all just do your background. It's going to look at that. See how it just kind of, and also on these canvas boards, they dry faster than your regular canvas. So I'm just going to come over here and do the same thing with the dark color. And I have enough on my brush, you guys, that I'm just able to do that without even having to load back up. But if you have a bigger or a thicker canvas, you can just get that on there, or you can do that later. You can, I'm just going to kind of I'm just getting this on here, you guys, nothing. And I'm going to paint over those little swirlies, and it got on my pumpkin. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm just kind of getting that on there. And look how fast, you guys, look how fast this background is going. Isn't that awesome? It's just, you just slap it on there. But it's a really cool background because it doesn't look all, you know, perfect or like one color. I'm just going to do this like this, just around this little pumpkin. And again, if I cover up something, it's okay, because we can go back in there and I'll show you how we can. And canvas boards, I've got to take a breath. I'm just so excited that I'm just like going 9-0. But canvas boards take a little bit more paint in a different way than canvases. I like canvas a little bit more, but I also was gifted all these canvas boards, and so I really want to use them. And I don't use them for paint parties so much unless it's a kid's paint party. And so you can just kind of go in here and just, I want to put a little bit more light in here just to get, and it covers up and it's kind of blending in. So what you can do is just kind of get it on here and cover it up. And then you can go back in and slap some more on there, some little, kind of a tiny bit of that, dark color. Is everybody with me? Is everybody hanging? Is everybody in there?
Yeah, girl.
Good.
This is so fun.
I know. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. And so look at that background, you guys. Can you see how the difference, like, it doesn't have to be, it's just such an easy background, and you get it on there quick, and then you're ready to move on. So I'm going to turn it around like this so you guys can see that way. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of get some more paint on here.
I'm literally like doing a bunch of X's. It's so easy.
And it just makes it so fun because when you can paint loose, I love the palette knife. When I learned about the palette knife at the very first get-go, I was like, oh, this is driving me, my perfectionist, crazy. But when I started painting, I decided from the very get-go to leave that type A girl at the door and tell her she could not come in the craft room. And because I love to paint loose and I love to just have fun with it. And my type A was just too much of a perfectionist. And girls, I will tell you, if I could give any piece of advice to anybody in life, let go of the perfectionism. There's only one perfect, and it robs you of such joy and such fun because you're
Amen.
too worried about being perfect. And I worried about that so long, but I never was perfect, and I tried to be a people pleaser. And I will tell you, when I let all that go, I in my late 40s, I'm a little slow learner there, girls. But when I let that go, I have been the most free and the most able to serve God instead of people. And people will never be happy. You guys, y'all can work to make them happy, but you're never going to be the reason they're happy.
That's so true.
They have to find that happiness from within and from Jesus. So you have that there.
You preaching, girl. You preaching.
I know. I love, everybody says something about how the art and stuff, but I think really, I just love sharing God's word. And like, yeah, that's what makes me the happiest. And then you guys can do it as heavy. And I would encourage, if you like those marks, like watch this. Like, let's say I want a little bit of white in there. I can just go, look at that. Like, I can just go in there and put some of that. And like right here, I can go up here and just kind of crisscross it. It's kind of like, this is a fun sky to do, even for an outside. You can do the blue, the kind of the cobalt blue and white, and or light blue, and it just makes the most beautiful sky because it's not perfect. And like, this is drawing. So let me show you a trick. Y'all probably already know this, but this is a water bottle from Sally's. It's like $9.99. But I had a water bottle and it just would do streams and it would just make a mess. But this is a fine mist. And on this board, it's drying just a tad bit fast for me. So I just do a little bit of spritz of water and it allows me to keep on working.
Love it.
And this bottle has been a life changer for me because, I sometimes work and it starts to dry on me. And this has just been fun to, and it works on canvas or even my mixed media pad. It works in there as well. So it's been the greatest. Of course, I loved it so much I had to go back and get one for my hair because I have short hair and I need one in because my hair dries so fast that it dries before I'm done and ready to. So now we're done with this part. I'm going to show y'all this up close. I'm just going to put a little bit more of this. I want a little bit more of the side over here. I just want a little bit more. Okay, I think we're going to quit working it. I'm going to let it kind of go. But look at that, you guys. See how I'm going to hold it this way and then kind of that way. But you can go back and add to it or whatever y'all want. Make it your own. Make it how you want it. I'm going to let it go because I could keep working it. So I'm going to let that go. And what I'm going to do down here is I'm going to put the light elephant gray. And it's by Apple Barrel. It's this one. It's kind of almost looks white, but it's not. I'll show you right here. It's a light colored gray, just right there. And and I'm going to go ahead and get the graphite gray. And it's a little bit darker. It's by Apple Barrel too. It's this one right here. It's darker. I don't know if y'all can see that, but and I already have the white and the light buttermilk on my thing. So what I'm going to do right here is just get a light coat of this light gray. And I'm just going to cover it, you guys, really fast. And I usually I have paint all over this turntable, but I usually just do this because I'm going to go off the edge. And I'm just going to get this on here. But we're going to put a lot of different stuff on here, you guys. So just get your light gray on here or whatever color you're making your table. Because, again, make it your own. Because that goes back to we are all made different, but we're all beautiful in God's eyes because we are his daughters. And so we're different. Some of us are tall, some are short. I'm a little fluffier than some, so that's all right too. But you know what? God made us in his image, and he has a purpose for every one of us.
Yes.
And so it doesn't matter what we look like or how tall we are or any of that stuff.
What would you say, like, was really what, like, do you have a specific moment that you remember where he just really got your attention and you just knew like it was time to just give everything over to him? Like, is there a moment that really stands out to you, or
Can I just say there's been moments in my life every day, but yet there are quite a few moments where I'm the daughter that he had to remind, not your way but my way, not your timing but my timing, and not your thoughts but my thoughts. And so there's been a lot, but there is one specific one towards the end before I met my husband and before life changed. I had such a low self-esteem that I was letting the wrong people in my circle. And I just knew it wasn't of God. Of course, they always presented themselves of being from God, but they weren't. And there was one point where I had said as a young girl that I would never let a man hit me. And the day that I did let a man hit me, they say you don't hear God audibly, but I know his voice, and it says his sheep will know his voice. I heard him say, really, this is not the life I have for you. This is not what I planned for you. This is not where I want you to be. And when you decide to follow me and get out of here, then we'll see where you're going to go. And that is the person that the moment I walked away, my life changed. And did I make some more mistakes after that? Yes. But once I left that situation, God just started, the blessings started flowing, and he just really used that to say, what are you doing? You are a daughter of the king, and you're letting this person abuse you physically and mentally because you think I don't have better. Are you not trusting me? And that really got a hold of me because I had always trusted him. I trusted him through a divorce. I had always really trusted him in a sense, in stuff, but at that point, I think he felt like I was choosing man over him, so to speak. But yeah, that was a very defining moment. But I got saved at 21, so I'm going to say I've had lots of moments where God's had to yank me up and say, girl, what are you up to? What are you doing? You are not living for me.
Yeah, and I think like it goes through times like that. Even after we're that makes total complete sense. I think sometimes I think a lot of what it is like even after we're saved, and that's when like Satan really knows, like, okay, well, this is a girl to try to get on now, and so like he stays on you even worse because he's trying to like stop you. And he likes to confuse you, and he likes to make you question, like, well, am I really saved? Am I like really worth like?
Well, and the thing is though that you're so right, because the minute you're saved, life does not. I had to tell someone the other day, just because you're saved, your life is not going to be perfect. In fact, Satan, if you're living for God, he's going to come after you because he only can get the victory for right now. He can't get the victory in the end because we know how the story ends. So he can only have a daily victory or a victory for the month. He can't have the whole story. So he's got to do what he's got to do. And you guys, this week I preached Jesus on Tuesday, and Tuesday afternoon I had $2,000 stolen. out of my PayPal. So I know that I must be on the brink of doing something fantastic because he has been after me since May, like strong. But you know what? I'm not going to quit, and I'm not going to quit sharing Jesus. So there's that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So here we've got our gray on here. See, we've got our little light gray on there. And so we're just going to let that dry for a minute. And what I'm going to do real quick, I'm just going to dry it real quick. I'm sorry, I interrupted you, Dana. What else were you saying? I'm sorry. I get so excited about Jesus that sometimes I get like.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I'm the same way. No, I think like what was the last thing that you said was you had said
Like
something, I don't remember.
Well, we get saved, and then he does. I mean, he never lets up, you guys. Satan is here to kill, steal, and destroy. That is scriptural. And he doesn't want us to be victorious. And so, whatever he can do to sidetrack us or distract us, and just like Dana said, just because you get saved, I mean, then he's going to try in different ways because you're a new Christian. Then, when you're a middle, just like I said, I was saved at 21. There were times that I walked away, but he never walked away from me. I was the one that walked away from him. And he was always there with grace and mercy and loving me back.
Amen. So, I think that's like the thing too, like when people don't really think about it, like when he's really to get on you and get to you is when you really should be like using that as motivation. Like, okay, well, he's after me now, so I'm like, shove it in his face even more.
See, that's how I felt this week. I'm like, Satan, finally yesterday I said, Satan, you got one whole day Tuesday and you got half a day Wednesday. You're not getting any more of my time. I'm done with you. I've fixed, I have called, I've done what God led me to do to get out of this. But you're done for today. Like, you've had your victory for the moment, so move on because I'm done with you. Okay, so y'all, this is dry. That's how fast this dried. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you really quick. Now, this is why I love the fork from a fast food place. And you guys, you can use this as a palette knife. You can use the points. You can use this. This does the same thing as this because you're just using the edge. You're using the back. You can use this whole fork like however you would use a palette knife. So all I'm going to do right here is I'm going to take some of this dark gray, and I'm just going to kind of get it on the back of my fork. See how that's on the back of my fork? Y'all can use a palette knife if you're comfortable with a palette knife. But I just want to show somebody that maybe hasn't really gotten the hang of a palette knife, how easy you can use other utensils that you have in your house. So I want this to kind of look so I'm going to lay the side of the fork too. So see how, and look, I'm just laying it down, you guys. I mean, but see how it just kind of, and you can do it as heavy or as light as you want. It's up to you. It's your painting. So, but I love the rustic, the textured. I am a texture girl. That's why I love the palette knife, I think. And I'm just going to come on the edge there, but you can also take this and lay it down that way. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Oh, so fun. And so I could do it this way, but we're going to make it where you can just put all of this in here. I'm going to put a little bit more of the dark. I didn't put as much dark as I did. I mean, I didn't put as much dark in the first one. But I'm just going to do this. And oh, look at that. See, I just did that. A palette knife, you cannot control. So if you're in type A, say type A girl, go out of the paint area and bring the non-type A girl back so you can just have some fun. This is what I love about this. So I'm not even going to really clean this off. I'm just going to kind of wipe it off because I kind of want to come in there. And now I'm going to go and grab some of, I think I'm just going to do a little bit more like right here. I think I want a little bit more. Y'all, I get started the palette knife. I don't want to quit. So I'm just going to give you a forewarning heads up that I don't want to quit. So now look at what I just did with a fork, you guys. That is done with a fork. Like, how cool is that?
That is so cute.
I mean, so fun. And now I can wipe it off. And what I'll do now is go in and I'm going to get some of this, the light buttermilk by Deco Art. And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm not going to worry if it's wet because that's going to just make us have some different colors. But look at this, you guys. And you can just do it if it's not the way you want it, because you can come back in here and like I'm just going to put some on the edge of this fork. You can make them thicker. You can make them thinner. And I just use this fork just like I do my palette knife, you guys. I'm going to show you in a little bit because watch this. This is a palette knife. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it on the edge. I'm using it just like I did the fork. So no need to go. I'm a real firm believer. Don't go out and buy all the craft things until you know if you love it or not. And a plastic fork is very inexpensive way to see if you even like the palette knife idea. If you even, now see, I think right there, the way I was doing it before, I kind of like the fork for the lines. But I'm doing the palette knife the same exact way. Now see, the palette knife kind of gives a shorter, line or whatever. But see how that you can still do the same thing. You can even come in here and kind of do this with a palette knife or with a fork or a knife. And you can kind of spread it out a little. And if you want, see, like just then the palette knife, it kind of hits where it wants to. And see, like right there, I did that and made a big O, but it's all right. But if I wanted to fix that, like if I didn't want that big glob there, I could go back and just get a little bit, wipe off my paint real fast, and just get a little bit of that dark. And I could come right back in and look at that. I came right back in over here and just put my line through that big part right there. And I'm going to put a little bit right here. And look at that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wipe this off. And then we're going to put one more color down here. And we're going to be done with that. You guys, this painting is so stress relieving. You could do it. It's just so easy. And I'm going to put just a little bit more right there. Y'all, you could work this all day long. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be done with this part. But now, do you see, keep these. When you get too many, throw them in a drawer and you can use them to paint. And these are real fun for kids to use. You could use spoons. I've never used this one, but I think it would be fun because it's like a spoon. But the good news is, y'all, you can use this part like a palette knife too. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of this light sweet mint right there. Oops, I just stuck my finger in it. But I'm going to grab some of it and I'm going to put it on my fork just like I did before. Ooh, you can see it easier that way. So now I'm going to come in here and just kind of, I'm not going to put it everywhere. I'm just going to put it a little bit here, a little bit there. And I love the texture of this. And you can even put the dark in too, you guys. You can do it however you want. And look at that. I just put those little marks right there. I really like them. So I'm just going to kind of, I'm having so much fun with the fork, you guys. I did this on a live not too long ago, the fork, and I love the fork. And it was just me trying it for the first time, but everybody loved it, and they wanted to do it too. So, okay, so now look at our bottom, you guys. see how and you could put a little bit of, you could put a little bit of the dark if you wanted to just put like a swipe in there. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, yeah. So what do y'all think about that?
I love how that looks. I'm playing around with mine too.
I know, it's so fun. It really is stress relieving, you guys. If you have a rough day and I could just keep going and just kind of add. Like I wasn't going to add very much, and now I have a whole bunch in there, which I love it. So I'm just going to put my little fork right there on my plate. But look at this, you guys. Look, and you can throw some orange down there when we do our pumpkins. But look at that.
That is so cute.
And so it just makes it like rustic and kind of like a barnwood table with some paint splashed on it. So now
Yes.
what I know, isn't that cute?
It is so cute.
So now what we're going to do is I'm going to just take this small round. It's just a small round, not a liner. It's a number 4. I can't even pronounce what this is. I'm not real crazy about these brushes. They're nice, but they're not lasting like my Walmart brushes. And I started with Walmart brushes 3 years ago, y'all, that I'm still using. And these were more money. And I've used a couple of them 2 times, and the paints, the white is already peeling off. But I do like the brush part. And so it's just a small round. So what I'm going to do is, oh, you guys, you know what I didn't do? On the supply list, I did not give y'all any color for the leaves. So what I would normally use is Desert Cactus or Dark Hazard Green by Deco Art. But y'all can just grab a favorite color green that you want your leaves.
That gold would be really pretty with it too.
Oh, yeah, it definitely would too. Because at the very end, we're going to slap gold everywhere. That's my signature. We're going to slap gold everywhere in here. So you could, you could use your gold for your curlies, your leaves. But
Yeah,
I
that'd
put
be
a
pretty.
little bit of gold in my leaf so really all I did was this dark Hauser green. But you could use any green that you have right there, you guys, because I'm barely going to use any. You don't have to get very much out. You could probably even open the cap to any green that you've got close. And I'm just going to come up here upside down so you guys can see. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to just get this on here like this. And it's not going to cover it the whole, it's not, you're going to have more than one coat, probably 2. But I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to do this big leaf. And I'm just taking that round brush and starting and just going and laying it down and going around the shape. So I'm starting at the bottom. Normally, if this wasn't wet down here, I would start at the point like this and come down. Can y'all see that? I start at the point and come down and go around. I love leaves. I love all that stuff. I love to do leaves. I could sit in my mixed media and do leaves all day long. But see how fast we got that on there, you guys? See how fast? And it's going to dry pretty quickly. So I'm just going to put a little bit more. It's already drying. These canvas boards, you guys, they dry so fast. And that's a good thing sometimes, but it's also like I had to use the spritz bottle a while ago and I'm just going to leave that like that. And I've got texture going on in that. If y'all can see that leaf, I'm going to hold it up really like that little one. Oop, I'm going the wrong way. That little leaf. Oop, he's just I kind of stuck it on there so it'll dry. This one's already dry, so I'm going to go ahead and put our second coat. And I'm kind of proud because I've talked a lot, but we are kind of moving along, so that's good. I kind of wanted to keep it. I kind of didn't know what time. I didn't know how long you were allotting, but look at that.
That
Huh?
is so cute. I
Thank
love it.
you. And what I'm going to do now is y'all can do the gold or whatever color you want. But what I'm going to do, since I've already got this on my round brush and it's got the perfect, I'm just going to, and y'all could use Posca paint pens or any paint pens you have. And I'm just going to lay that down, and it kind of ran out of paint, but that's okay. And y'all can do these any way you want. I mean, any way. And that one's thicker, but I'm not going to care, because guess what? We're going to add a little something, something to it in a minute. So we're not going to worry. And does it have to be perfect, you guys? No, no, no. Let go of everything needing to be perfect. When you do, life will get more perfect than it's ever been.
Yep. Stop focusing on how it looks and focus on how it makes you feel. Just enjoy it.
Amen. Oh my gosh, I think we're soul sisters.
I'm telling you, you're like my spirit animal.
I know that we are, because we are sisters in Christ, but I just feel so like connected. And so that came together, you guys, but I'm not going to stress out, because I could always go back and add, I could always go back and add the center like that one, but I'm just going to let it be. I'm not going to worry about it. And y'all can see what I mean. See how I filled in that big one, how it's filled in, but it's not going to matter, because we're going to go back and add some things anyway. So I've got that part on. I'm going to wash my brush real quick. We're going to use a little bit of burnt umber. I'm going to go ahead and do the stems real quick.
I can't wait to see everybody's painting.
I know. I want everybody to post theirs. I can't wait. That's my most favorite part, because guess what? Everybody's is going to be gorgeous, but they're going to be different. That's how we are. Yes. We are different, but we are beautiful. Amen. And how boring would it be if we all look like me, or we all look like you? I mean, how boring would that be in life?
It would be so boring. Somebody talked about that recently in one of the workshops that I'm doing. They were saying, like, just because somebody else is doing it, like, doesn't mean that nobody can do it like you. Like, God has a reason for you. Like, you have to do it your way, and there's somebody else that needs the way that you do it.
Well, and I think about you. That brings me back to you. Like, when I met you, there's just something about you that I want to follow, because it's you. Yes, I follow other people, and yes, I'm going to follow people, but people follow the people they follow because they feel a connection.
Yeah.
And that's why there's a million painters out there, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm not like the number one, like, most fancy painter, or I haven't been painting for all my life, but it's just an avenue to get to learn about you, and to get to learn about the people that are following. I mean, it's a vehicle, so to speak.
Yes.
It's not that, I mean, hopefully I can teach you something that maybe you didn't know, but that's not my primary, and that's not what I feel like God's primary reason for putting me in this path anyway. So now I'm just taking this little round brush, and I'm just putting it in the brown burnt umber by Apple Barrel. It's one of my favorite browns. I use it a lot. And I'm just kind of filling in this little stem. I didn't put enough green right there, so I'm just making my stem a little fluffier. It's all right. Don't have to be a skinny stem. It can be a fluffy stem. I like fluffy. It'll be good. But you make your pumpkin however you want. You make your stem however you want. You make it your own. That's what I can't wait to see, because I love to see how people do their version. I just got back from another art retreat, and the room was full of 100 women, and we painted, and all of them were different, but all of them were beautiful. All of them are beautiful. So that's what I love is,
I'm sorry. I'm like involved in my painting, and sometimes I forget to.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I love that.
I get in my zone, girl.
Me too. I do too. I have to keep, like, it's a good thing that I have to talk right now, or I'd be in the zone too with you.
Yep, it's such a thing. This
But
is
look
so
at that, you
fun.
guys. You can make it. Like, look at that. See how quick that is?
Oh, that's so cute.
And then when we get our stem on here, in a little while, we're going to just add all the colors. And I'm going to show you how to use that fork again, or whatever you have going on. But and this is a really simple, but I will tell y'all that this is the first original design I did on my own. And so y'all are getting this. I painted it, but nobody's painted with me. I painted it one time on my page a while back. But since it's fall, and she said, "What do you want to paint?" And I was like, "Oh, I am like obsessed with pumpkins right now, you guys. I want to paint
Yes.
pumpkins on everything."
I can feel you on that.
I just they make me happy in the shape. Like, you can make them all kinds of shapes, you guys. However you want to do them.
Yeah, all summer, like I love doing like the fun summer designs and stuff, but I have definitely been waiting for like fall and winter.
Oh, girl, and I just need for Texas to get a little cooler is all I need.
Well,
And
you
I have
come right down to Virginia, honey.
I know. Hey, Virginia's on my bucket list.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
come
because
on
I
down.
don't know why. When I was younger, I always wanted to go there, and I don't even know what made me want to go there. And then now, since I've met all the creatives I met and know so many people, I'm like, okay, now I really want to go there.
Well, come on down.
Okay, so there we have it, you guys. I'm going to let the stems be so we can move on, because really all we have left is our pumpkins. We're going to get them covered, and then we're going to start slapping on with the palette knife. And that'll be kind of our details. But you can always come in here, you guys, and do details with a paintbrush. I started out with Posca paint pens back in the day when details scared me. But now I love, the other day I painted letters with my paintbrush, and I freehanded on a door hanger, and I was so excited when I got done, I couldn't even hardly stand it. Because I'd used the brush for the whole thing, and I was like, oh my goodness, I used the brush. It was so awesome. So now we are going to take our Georgia clay. It's one of my favorite oranges because it has a tiny bit of red. It's Georgia clay, but you can use any oranges. That's the color it is. I'm going to use a little bit of the Georgia clay. I'm not going to put a whole bunch on. I'm going to use the Warm Sunset, a little bit of the Warm Sunset. And then I'm going to use some of the Spiced Pumpkin by Deco Art. This is my favorite. I use it for, I just love this color of orange. And it's called Spiced Pumpkin. So I'm going to show y'all the difference of the colors right here. I'm going to show you. This is the Georgia Clay right here. This is the Spiced Pumpkin, and this is the Warm Sunset. So it's kind of like the Georgia Clay, then the Warm Sunset, then the Spiced Pumpkin as far as colors. If y'all can see those, like what's the darkest. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit smaller of a brush, maybe a smaller, let me see. And y'all can use the same ones, whatever you use. I'm going to use this little filbert. It's a kind of a 1/2 inch filbert, I think. But y'all can use the flat brush, whatever you can get in here the best. Whatever y'all can get into your pumpkin. I'm just going to take some of this Spiced Pumpkin and get this on here. But look how fast this round brush, but a flat brush would do it too. But look how quick that gets on there. You can still see your lines, so that's the good news. I'm just going to make that pumpkin a little rounder right there. And I'm just going to you can use that filbert brush or the flat tip, to go around that edge and make it, see how it just goes around that edge if you start just around the edge. And however you want to get yours covered, that's up to you. And I'm just going to make this one the spiced pumpkin. And I'm just going to come up here, in here by this, the pumpkin and the leaf. And I'm just going to come in there. And I'm going to swirl it back around. I hope I'm not making y'all sick. The turntable is my fave. I don't know how come it took me so long to get one of these, but. And so the good news is if you get it on something you don't want it on, you can go back and touch it up at the end or when you, but by the time we add the palette knife, really, to be for real, y'all, you're not gonna notice things you're noticing right now, because the palette knife is gonna just take all that anxiety away. It's gonna just take it all away. And see, I'm probably gonna put one good coat and then just go back, and just touch up where I see that it's kind of see-through. If you want to do 2 coats, you will be able to do 2 coats. That's up to you. Orange is very translucent, just like red and yellow and some of the colors. So I'm just kind of coming in here. I'm going to come down here. And even if you lose your points, you guys, no worries. And I always say don't sweat the small stuff, because really we worry about a lot in our life that never comes to pass. And it's just wasted. And I only say that because I struggled for years. I still have to be careful because it will creep up even when I least expect it. This week, I kind of got in the worry mode for a moment, and God just kind of got a hold of me and said, if you're trusting me, then quit worrying. I was like, okay, I will. Like, it's an ongoing lesson for me. Ongoing
Yes.
lesson. But I think it is
everybody's
for
like,
everyone.
It's constant. It's like a growth process. I mean, you're never truly going to be
No.
100%, but you just keep practicing and keep growing and like working on yourself. And that's, what it's all about.
And I love to grow. And I look back to where I started. And honestly, nobody really knows except you and God what all you really have grown from. And what, I went to a retreat this last week, and the girl I roomed with, I didn't really know her except online, the lady. And we were back one night early on the meet and greet, and we were just talking. And she goes, you have the most beautiful home. You have the perfect husband, the perfect life. And I looked at her with just the sweetest, kindest look I could. And I said, I do have a blessed marriage. I do have a blessed home. I waited to 50 to get that man. I waited through, and then I kind of told her a little bit of my testimony from the age of 6 on, just a highlight reel, not long drawn out. And she looked at me and said, I would have never guessed that you had been through the life you'd been through. And I said, that's why we should never judge books by a cover. And we should never think that someone doesn't have a problem if on the outside they look like they have it all together.
Amen.
Because I don't have it all together. I'm just going to tell you, I don't have it all together. I do have together what God wants me to have together, and He gives it to me each day. But she goes, I just would have never guessed that. I said, that's why we must love each other and be kind to each other, because we do not know what someone is struggling with. We do not know where they've been.
Right.
And we don't know what, like today I caught myself. I said, oh, hello. I was going into Walmart, and this lady just looked at me. And at first I thought, well, golly, you could smile. And then I took my own advice, and I said, you know what? I don't know what she's been through today. She might not even can summons up a smile. She might not even have it. And so I just prayed for her as I walked off, because I thought, I don't even know what she's struggling with. And only God does. And I don't need to know. I mean, But I do need to pray for her because there was a sad look on her face. And okay, so I've got that orange on there. It's not perfect, but you guys, again, it doesn't have to be because we're going to put all kinds of stuff on here. And when it dries, if you want to touch it up with a little bit more of that orange, you sure can. So what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to change my brush. You guys might know wash it. I'm going to grab a little bit of this Warm Sunset. And I might grab a little bit of this Georgia Clay. I'm going to come there. And I'm just going to kind of make this little pumpkin. These little pumpkins look kind of like they were the last of the, kind of on the shelf waiting for somebody to buy them. But I love them just the same. And so y'all can just get your little nothing, just load your paintbrush. If you're struggling with having enough paint, it'll kind of drag and leave spots, but go ahead and load up more. And then just follow that around with your paintbrush. And I'm just going to come in here. Now, honestly, I'm probably about to grab my smaller brush again. Usually I can use a round brush for almost all of what I'm doing. But I really want this little brush real quick so I can get in between my my stem. But you guys, the more dimension, like mixing your colors, like I'm even going to take a little bit of this spiced pumpkin, and you could have done that. I can go back and do it on that other pumpkin. But look at that. See, I just came in there and it doesn't matter. Like I'm just adding, like, look at that. Look, I love that little pumpkin because he has so many colors in him and he just looks fun. So I'm going to take a little bit of this dark right here, the Georgia Clay. I just lucked upon this color one day. It wasn't even something somebody used in anything, and I have loved it ever since. It's kind of a tomatoey red, maybe, or tomatoey orange kind of, but I love it. And so now I'm going to take a little bit more of that Warm Sunset and come in here. And y'all see how this is just something you could sit and do. And I'm going to take a little bit of this in here, and I'm just going to cover this really good. And y'all, you can still see my trace lines on there. And I'm going to put some of that in here. And I'm not even, you guys, I'm leaving some of my brush marks. See how my brush marks are in that small one? See how, maybe you can see it this way. Oh yeah, a little bit that way. You can see kind of the brush marks. And I just took that, I kind of dipped in the wrong thing, but that's okay. I dipped in the spiced pumpkin. No stressing, no stressing. And I'm just going to leave that there for right now. But what I'm going to come do right here, this one's still a little bit wet, but I kind of want a little bit of this color in here. I'm just going to kind of, and I'm just swiping in, you guys. I'm just swiping in, kind of just around your little round marks that you did. And I'm just kind of taking that Georgia Clay, and I'm just kind of going like that. And then what I'm going to do is take a little bit of that spiced pumpkin. I'm not cleaning my brush, and I'm just kind of going over it because it's still wet. But look how that, and I'm going to kind of cover those lines a little bit. And I could use the dark brown. Sometimes I use the dark brown. Today I'm kind of feeling like using the Georgia Clay. It's kind of, I'm really kind of liking that. So what I'm going to do is come in here and just kind of, so I'm just kind of getting that in there. It was still a little bit wet, so I'm going to kind of come over here and kind of, and when it's wet, you guys, you can still just really manipulate it. But see how that, and see how I'm going to put a little warm sunset in there too. I'm just going to put a little bit. But see, you can keep working it until you like the color that you have. I'm just mixing colors. I'm not even cleaning my brush. I'm just it's kind of like blending just to where you want it. You guys look at, see how, and see how I'm going to show it. I said that 3 times, but I'm fixing to hold it up so you guys can see it. So I'm gonna, there was still some spots that were kind of, and it's drying super fast. So I'm gonna kind of just do a little bit of, now see how, okay, now see how that was dry when I kept adding that, but see how just adding that little bit of water, see how, I want y'all to see how adding that little bit of water, I'm just going to kind of dab that right there because I got a little bit on my green, but that's all right. But see how it blended better when I put a little bit of water on it? Because I'm working again on a canvas board. You guys might be on canvas, so it might not be, and now I am going to take a little bit, just a tiny bit of brown. I didn't clean out my brush. And I'm going to just come in here. And I'm just doing it lightly, you guys, because I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm doing it really light. It took me 3 years to learn how to paint with a light touch. So don't get discouraged if you feel like it's heavy. You can always go back and add. You can go back and add oranges over the top of it to kind of mute it down. But I'm just going in here and following that line that we did with our tracing. And, but look how fun, you guys. So now I'm just going to wipe it off on that paper towel. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back with some of that spiced pumpkin. And I'm just going to go over it. But look how it blended that in and didn't make it look quite as like we drew it on there. It just kind of. So what are y'all thinking? Are y'all hanging with me? Are y'all still with me?
Yes, this is so fun. I'm so excited to see these.
See how that pumpkin in the background, how the more you add the orange, like you can just come in here and kind of, you can do it however you want, you guys. You can make it as heavy or light as you want. But again, it's not going to really matter in a minute because we're going to start slapping paint on here with a palette knife or a fork. Or I'm going to take some of this warm sunset and do it on this pumpkin. But see how, and if it's too dark, if yours gets too dark, remember, you can let it dry. Don't ever try to fix anything when it's wet. Just let it dry because it'll become a muddy mess if you just keep on working it while it's wet. But I'm just putting this over the top, you guys. Nothing fancy, nothing. And like right there, I would probably just let that dry, but I fixed it anyway. So I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. See how they're. So are y'all still painting with me? Is everybody hanging in there? How's it coming? Is it coming good?
Yeah, mine's doing good. Isn't everybody's still good?
Yay. And I'm just going to come in.
I haven't gotten comments in a while, so everybody must be like busy.
Everybody's concentrating.
Yes.
Yay. Okay, so what we have got now is we've got our main pumpkin. We've got our main 2 pumpkins on here. And so what we would do now is I think that, let me see what we should do next. So what I think we should do is the last thing we'll add is like the black and the white, and we're going to add very little of both of those. So what I think I want to do now is I want to start getting some color on these pumpkins. So I want to start taking, and you guys, this is where I'm going to show you with this right here. It's just like a plastic knife that you would get at a fast food place, but this is actually a plastic palette knife that came in the set of 4 at Dollar Tree. But if you don't know if you like palette knives, I mean, these work just the same, just like the plastic fork worked just the same. In fact, I liked it for a whole lot of other reasons. But I'm just going to hit this with the heat gun real quick. It'll dry. It's already drying because this canvas board dries like ASAP. But so it's not going to take us too much longer. We are going to, do you guys have any questions for me, or is there anything I can?
Becky says she's still here. She's painting.
Yay, Becky!
This is going to be so fun to see all of y'all's paintings. Yeah, anybody have questions for Toni?
Any questions? I'm pretty open book, so I will, painting or whatever, I will usually be right there. So what I'm going to do on this is I'm going to add some of the Georgia clay first. I'm going to load it up on my palette knife. I've got it on the back side. But watch this, you guys. The palette knife is going to be right where you lay it. Like, look, it's only going to hit certain places. So don't think it's going to go right where you want it to. That's not its job. It's to do its own job. I mean, and it's just like, and some of these might be bigger swipes for you, and you're like, I don't know if I like it. Well, guess what? Let it dry, and you can always go back over it with a brush. But I'm just loading up a little bit on the back of here. I'm not, I think that's why I grew to love the palette knife, because I just love how I can't control it. And really, that's how we should be with the Lord, because we really shouldn't try to control him, but I know we all do it from time to time. But this kind of represents God to me. I know that sounds weird, but it kind of goes to show me I can't really control it, and it's prettier when I don't. And my relationship with God is prettier when I don't try to control it.
Girl, I just love you.
I love you too.
I do. You have the best.
I feel like I've already done this. I feel like this is a deja vu moment, but I don't really believe in luck. I believe God has a divine time for all of us and divine appointments and all the things. So, but I loved you the moment I met you in person too. I loved you on screen too, but the minute I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, I love her.
Oh, so now I felt the same way.
I'm just swapping some of this lighter color, you guys, the spice pumpkin. I'm just putting it over here on this little pumpkin. But you don't have to, it's just whatever colors that are on your palette and you're driven to put in your little pumpkin, just put it any old way. Now, when you lay this down, like even when you use one of these smaller ones, it's easier to lay down sometimes than this long one. But again, you can still use the tip, like I'm coming down here and just kind of, so I want to show y'all up close, because right now it looks like a hot mess. Don't judge it, because we're not done. But I got some of those colors in there. Then I want to take a little bit of this Georgia clay. I want to come back in. And it doesn't, you guys, it just makes them look more rustic and more, so I have the spiced pumpkin. So I think I need a little bit of the warm sunset. And I am going to come in here and look at that. And then you can just, And I will show you guys like if I get a little bit of this warm sunset over here, I can just put a swap in there, swap in there. Just swap wherever, but look at that. See how that's starting to give texture upon texture and rustic. And I think I just put orange. I'm not sure where, but that's all right. But like this, you don't even have to change out your palette knife. But the more that you add, the more layers of the palette knife, the more texture you're going to get, and the more you're just going to love it. I'm like, love it. And so I really don't think I'm going to add a whole lot more of those colors because I want to go in there now and I want to show y'all with a different, I'm showing y'all all kinds of, I want to take I want to take this one, actually maybe the smaller one like that maybe. Like this is that wasn't the one I was looking for. Okay, evidently you can tell this one I've used a lot, and it's the smaller one. And now I'm going to show you a metal one. So I've showed you all kinds of plastic. I've showed you a fork. So now I'm going to take a little bit of that sweet mint, and I'm going to load up my palette knife. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to, now see on this one, if you lay it down, look at that. See, you're just going in there, you're just kind of laying it down. And you guys, it's going to hit where it wants to. It's going to do its own thing. You can't control it. So just sit back and don't even try. And then I'm going to come over here and that's still wet, but it's not going to matter. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take a little bit of this sweet mint. I'm going to come up in here. I'm just going to put a little. I'm just going to put some in this. And then I'm going to put a little bit there. And then a little bit here. So see how I've got that? And I've just got a little bit of that. And then, so that's really the only colors I'm using there. And then on this one, I'm going to come in, I'm going to wipe it off, and I'm going to come in here with this bluegrass green, that color, the darker color. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to, I kind of got crazy on this one, but that's okay. I just felt it. I love the palette knife. Woo, that was a strong, bold move right there, but we're going to let it be. We're going to just go with the flow. And if that really drives you crazy, and like it could be driving someone type A crazy, I would just dry that really fast. And I'm going to put a little bit right there. I'm going to dry it really fast because on this canvas board, like I said a million times, it dries fast. But that might be a little bit too much for somebody. And so what I could do is just go back in here like that and just look how I toned it down just a little. It was a big old spot. And look how I just put a little orange on it. Oop, right there. A little bit of orange on it, kind of tone it down a little bit because it was kind of a big old mark. And so let me see what I want to do here. I want to put a little bit more right up here, and I'll put some in the stem, some of that dark. And y'all can do these, like I said, you can do them any way you want. I put all the colors up here, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the, I'm going to put a little bit of that color in here. I'm going to put a little bit of that color over here. You can just put it anywhere you guys want. I'm going to take a little bit of spiced pumpkin, put it a couple of places. I'm not going to put a bunch everywhere, but again, you can put a whole bunch anywhere that you would like. And I'm just kind of swapping it in there, you guys. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just letting that little tip just lay it down wherever it wants to go. I'm going to put a tiny bit of that in there. Tiny bit of that. And you can put stuff in that leaf, you guys. You don't have to. And then if you feel like you didn't, if you got carried away, you can go back and add some in there. But see how you scrape it and it just makes it its own thing, its own colors, its own. See how cute that is?
That is so cute.
So really, this is just, you guys, this is a painting you could do with kids, because really just draw a circle and let them paint in their pumpkin however they want. But this one could be done with so many, so many things. You could put faces on it for Halloween, like little happy faces or whatever. But that's where I'm at right now. So now all we really have is the black, the white, and the gold, per se. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, how do I have two of these? Oh, well, I don't know how I got two of those. Oh, maybe one's different. But I really, this is my other number one favorite. It is just this little pie server looking one. But you guys can use, and well, here's the plastic one. Let's just stay with this. Let's stay with this one. And you can use your fork, but what I would do is go in here. I'm going to put some gold on here. We'll do the white and the black at the very end. And what I'm going to do right now is get my 24 karat gold extra sheen deco art. My favorite. I add it to almost every painting. And I didn't use all of these colors, but I'm just going to put it on the side of my plate. And what I'm going to do on this is I'm just going to I'm going to really get this on my palette knife, or you can use a knife, like I said, a plastic from a fast food place. Whatever you have, a credit card. Usually I show a credit card, but right now I'm just going to come in here and what I'm going to do first is, because I like to do my edges, is let me get some more on here. And I'm just going to go around the edge. Now, do y'all see that on the very top edge? And you can make it as thick as you want. And I'm just going to go around the edge. It's kind of like a little border just around the edge. And then I'm going to keep on going. And I'm going to just go around here like this. And you can make it as thick as you guys want. I got a lot there, but that's okay. We can just, again, it's going to, because in a minute we're going to put it on the background anyway. So you have to kind of get a flat plate to use your palette knife a little bit so that you can spread out a little bit. And you can do this all kinds of ways, you guys. We can do this one a little bit different even than my other one. This is the other one. So you can see the top, you can see the thing. But what you can do is, like right here where I had, watch this. We can come in like this. Look at that. See how it just lays down? Oh, love it. You guys, and the scraping of the palette knife until you've really listened to it, it's so relaxing. I don't know why that sound just makes me happy. It just makes me happy. So I'm just scraping and just look how fast. I mean, like, I'm just scraping gold paint on here. I'm going to come to this side right here. Make sure y'all can see it. And you can come from this top, and you can kind of just get it kind of coming down like we did that other one. And then we can come over here and do the sides again. And look at that. That's how fast you just did the background. I mean, literally no time at all. Now I can kind of get carried away, so I need to stop. Like I need to walk away, and because I'm gonna go around the bottom just a little. But we're almost, all we've got to do is add the gold, the black and white to the pumpkins and the leaves. And then we're going to be done because we're going to put a little gold down here. So I'm going to get some of this and load up my palette knife again. So I am just so happy to be here with you guys. I am just, this is so fun.
I'm having so much fun. I'm usually the one teaching, and so it's fun having somebody else to do it so I can paint and enjoy myself.
I know. I'm so excited. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here is I didn't put a whole lot of gold down here, and you can do it however you want. I think in this one, I'm just going to kind of come in here and just kind of drag it, like I was saying, just put it on the back side and just drag it a little. I love that. I'm going to show you in just a minute. I'm just coming back down here, and I'm just getting the back of my palette knife, and I'm just laying it down, you guys. It's just, the palette knife is so freeing, and you can make it as thick again as you want. Okay, so I want to show y'all. Oop, I just stuck my hand gold. That's okay. I'm wearing gold most times anyway when I'm doing this. But see how the bottom, like it just has enough gold in it not to, see how it's addictive? I keep wanting to keep doing it. like it just makes me happy. It's the funniest things that make us happy. Simple things. I'm going to put a little bit more right there, and then I'm going to go to the pumpkins. So now what I would do is I would go in here, and I would probably, you know what I'm going to try? I'm going to try the spoon fork. I think it's a spoon combo with a fork. I'm not sure. But I am going to show you guys how literally you can, I'm going to put the gold on both sides of the spoon. I'm going to put it on both sides, but what I'm going to do is come down through here and just kind of make it in my, I'm making it like where my little veins were, but I'm just doing it lightly, not doing it real heavy. And I can't wait to see y'all's painting. And like on this one, I'm going to just, and I really like this too. You guys, it goes to show you don't spend a lot of money on stuff until you find out if you like it. Because I'm using the back of this spoon the same way I would a palette knife. Look at that. See how that's just kind of getting in there? I'm fixing to show you in just 1 minute. So I can go up here and do this. I can, now this one's a little bit trickier because it's round, but it's still doing the same thing. And you can just see, I'm going to hold this up to you guys now. See how I have the gold in there? And it is working just fine with this little spoon fork or whatever it is. And I kind of get carried away with the gold. I love it. So it is what it is. I'm sure y'all have your colors that you kind of, I tend to lean towards my favorite colors. And so a friend of mine, well, she's a creative. She challenged me to not use the sweet mint for a whole month. And I did it, but it was hard. I'm not going to it was really hard because I really love this color. So, and it's just a good color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my little plastic Dollar Tree on this little pumpkin because he's a little smaller. And I'm just going to I'm going to come up here and swap a little gold in my leaf. I'm going to swap some gold in my stem. This is where you're going to get creative. You're just going to let it be. So if y'all have any questions for me, be sure to ask, or you can reach out. And
Becky's already said she's having a lot of fun.
oh, yay, Becky! Yay! I know, I love this group. This is so fun.
I cannot wait to see your painting, Becky.
I know, I can't wait to see everyone's. I can't, because y'all, it's so fun to see. Like, I even enjoyed today. I know that was Becky that posted her pumpkins, or I think it was. I just love that because I learned from that. When I see someone drawing pumpkins, then it made me want to go draw my pumpkins just like Becky. Like, it made me want to go try my pumpkins and make them a little rounder and make them a little, and not because I didn't love mine. It's just I loved hers.
Right.
I mean, it was different. They were different. Again, back to we're different and they were different. So I wanted mine to look okay. So right now, this is what we've got so far. Whoa. This is what I have so far. But look,
love it.
This is this one. And then this one was the one from before. They're a little bit different, but kind of the same, but a little bit different. But every time you paint something, it's going to be a little bit different.
It looks so cool too. And how cool is this? Like, you can give these away as like gifts.
Yes. Yes. Like if you're going somewhere, like for Thanksgiving or for a Friendsgiving or whatever you're doing. And how cute would this be sitting in just a little easel? I have little easels that are metal that are just gold, black, or silver. And they came from Dollar Tree for $1, probably 25 now, but they sit perfectly in there. And how cute would that be to take it and to be able to give somebody something, say thank you for, having me. But it doesn't cost a lot, I mean, your time, but they will love it. So what I'm going to do is just grab this little round brush that I've had all this time. And I'm going to just take a little bit of my gold and I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to swipe it in this little curly Q thing. And I'm going to come up here and I'm not going to worry about the fact that I made that one thick. And I'm just going to kind of swipe some gold on these little veins. I mean, nothing major. I'm just going to go in there and just do a little bit of that. And now all we have left, you guys, is just a little bit of black and white, but I'm not going to do a whole lot. You can do it with a paint pen or you can do it with a paintbrush. I'm going to show you how I did mine with a paintbrush. And I'm not going to do a whole lot, y'all. I'm going to do a little bit of black. And in fact, I don't even have any black. Lamp black, ebony black by Deco Art. I'm just going to put a dot on there because we literally don't even need that much that I just put out. And I have white. So all I'm going to do right here is I'm just going to take a little bit of black, just a tiny bit on the tip. And I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to swipe. And just to give it a little bit, and I won't do a lot, just hitting the high spots, nothing just the details. I'm a detail person. I love the final moment of the painting when I can add the details. That part is fun for me because to me, at the very last, when you do that, that's when it kind of comes together. And that's when it kind of goes from disastrous and like a hot mess, because a painting is a hot mess until you do last steps. It's never fully all together until you I'm just putting little swaps in there. I'm going to show you up close. Little swaps in the, see how it's just a little swap there? Just a little swap. Just a little, just using the point. So I am just barely pressing down, you guys. I used to paint like this, like that thick mark. But now the lighter the pressure, the thinner the line. See how thin that is? The
Yeah,
lighter the
and I think
press.
that comes with practice too, because
It
I've been
does
the
come.
same way. Yeah,
It does
making those
come with.
thick lines.
Yeah, it does come with practice because the first 2 years I was like, holy cow, my lines are so thick. But that
Yes.
third year, it kind of was like, oh my goodness. And the other day I did something. I was like, oh, my line was skinny, and I was so happy. Like, so
It's all
I'm
about
going.
control, like hand control.
Yes, yes, and so so now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of black, but I'm not going to do perfect lines, you guys. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to just do it's somehow with my hand the right. I'm going to start with this baby pumpkin, and I'm just going to put some just light. I'm not going to do complete. That one's a little bit darker than I had hoped, but that's okay, you guys. Remember, if it's not the way you want it, let it dry. Oh, that was thick. See, no matter how much you practice, sometimes it just goes heavy. I mean, it just happens.
You
And
just
I'm
keep
just
doing it
kind of,
till you like it.
yeah, and let it dry. If you want to put a little orange over that, like however you want to do it. But see how it's a little bit thicker in places, but I'm not going to sweat that. It's not going to bother me. Probably pre-painting, it would have drove me crazy, but not so much now. Because I try to remember that we're all a work in progress. And I just want my painting to be that way too. I don't want, and I'm just, oh, see, that was a thick line on that far side. But
I actually like
I'm not.
that.
I know. I said, I accidentally did it. It was like a little happy accident, but I'm going to let it be.
Yeah, it looks good.
And so I just think, and it made me go back and add a little bit thicker right there. And I'm like, okay with that too. So sometimes you want thicker, sometimes you want thinner. But all we're going to do now is a little few white ones, but not. I'm not going to put as many white ones as I did the black. Just a little bit of highlighting going on. Just a little. I've got paint from one end of this room. I'm a messy painter, but I do wash my brushes after I use them. That's just who I. That's where my perfectionist girl shows back up. She's not allowed in the painting, but she can be in the cleanup. So that's where she comes back into play.
You need to teach me how to do that.
I'm kind of like, oh, the other day I left mine in there all night, and the next day I was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird for me. But it was kind of free, and I'm not gonna pretend like it wasn't. But and now I'm gonna kind of come in here, and I'm just gonna very lightly. Now these I don't want as thick as but I say that, and then if it happens, it happens. Um, I'm just putting a few little, just kind of like I said before. I'm kind of putting them on the opposite side of where I did the black while ago, because it kind of just but my mom comes over and she sees things. She goes, oh, I really love that. And there was a painting I did of birds, and I really loved it. I really didn't want to give it to anyone, and I wanted to keep it. And she kept saying, I really love those birds. And so I said, okay, you can have them. She goes, well, you're going to get them back one day. I go, Mother, I don't want to know that. I'm like, you can have it forever. I don't want it back. Like, because having it back would mean she wouldn't be here, and I don't really want that. So I said, you can have the birds. You can keep the birds. I mean, I don't care.
Oh.
I'm like, because I've lost my dad and my brother was really young. So she's what I've got. And I'm like, no, you can have the birds. I don't care.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
I'm just going in here and just swiping a little white, you guys. I'm not putting a whole lot. Is there anything else you would like for me to share, Dana, or no, or is there anything? Oh, that's a little bit.
I mean, if there's anything else that you think of that you want to share, you've been like awesome, so encouraging, and I just
Thank
love
you.
like hearing your story, and
Aww.
I'm sure
So
we'll
look at,
have you back to share some more too.
oh, yay. So look at that, you guys.
That is
And
so cute.
you can do that. Like I said, you can put all the colors in there. But I just really love how this one turned out. But this one's different than the other one. And that's what makes it so great. You can do this 10 times and they're going to look different. And I'm going to show y'all one last thing because this might throw y'all over the edge. I don't know. But hopefully not. But I want to make this one a tiny bit different than the other one. So I'm going to take I'm going to take my favorite palette knife, this little metal one, and it's a number. It doesn't have a number, but anyway, it's like the little pie server one, and it's this big, so you can kind of see on my hand. And I am going to take, I'm going to take some black. I know this might I don't know. I hope I like this, but I am going to take it. And I am going to just do this. Well, if it'll lay down. Yeah, I'm going to put some black in here. Just around like the top. I need a little bit more. So I'm just going to come up here. But see how that, and I'm really not going to put it down in there. I just kind of want to come around here. And it just kind of gives you another idea of the black is always scary, but when I add the black, I really always love it. So, and I'm just going to come down here and I'm just going to kind of come around the edge with that black. Well, the edge is not really, let me just do this real fast and then we'll be rocking and rolling. We'll be done. I'm just going to kind of get a little bit more right here.
The black really makes it pop too.
Yes, and if you do, I want to show you this right here, and then just kind of outlines the table, so to speak. But it just gives it a whole, and I'm going to show you both of them so you can kind of see how the difference, and you can go back and fix it however you, and then I'm going to kind of, because y'all know already probably that I love the palette knife. And I wasn't going to add the black down here, but I can't. I'm going to just
play around with it. If you have the idea, see how it looks. And if you always cover it back up.
Yeah, and like I said, you can let it dry and go at it again. But I love it. I'm glad I added the black. So
Becky's is absolutely gorgeous.
Look at it with the black, you guys. Even in the table, and just look at it with the black.
I love that.
And I'm gonna lay these down so y'all can see them. Here, I'm gonna scoot this back a little so y'all can, or up a little. No, back a little. So y'all can see both of them, how different. So this is the one with the black, and this is the one with not the black. And so I'm kind of leaning, I'm kind of leaning towards the black. I kind of like the black.
Yeah, I do too. That one pops.
So this is where, I gotta lay it down. I gotta stop. I gotta walk away. I'm gonna leave that one laying there because it's drying. And I will bring you guys up and we will. Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh my
Yay.
gosh, this was so much fun.
So fun. I love to paint with you. We're gonna have to paint to paint. I love
Yes,
it.
girl.
I'm loving
Post
it.
pictures of so Becky said please post pictures of both.
I will. I will post them right after we get off of here. I certainly will be
Yes.
glad to.
Yeah, and y'all make sure to post your pictures too.
Yes,
Feel
we
free to
want
go.
to see your pictures. And Becky, I want to see those pumpkins too. So you have
Yes.
to post yours too.
Well, and go share a picture of your painting on your profile page, like on your Facebook page. That
Yes.
way your friends can see, because who knows, maybe your friends need something like this in their life. And
Yes.
your post can encourage them and like let them know, like, hey, I know where you can do something like to help relax. And so this would be
Yes.
so much fun. So you plant seeds by doing that.
Yes.
And make sure, you guys, that you go follow Toni too. Go to her page, like her page, The Painted Roadrunner. Follow her. Make sure you keep in touch and keep up with her. I know she would love to see you guys again. So please be
Yes.
sure you go support her and show her some love on her page.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Dana, again for having me. I am honored and humbled, and just spending time with you ladies has been an honor for me. Even if you come back and watch the replay, I'm so excited to be here, and it's been so much fun that I just thank you, Dana, for having me.
Girl, you are so welcome. And yeah, if y'all have any for Toni, please put them in the comments of the replay. Like, you can still ask her, you can still tag her. She's going to be in here through the end of the month. So any
Yes.
questions that you have and you want to know answers to, feel free to ask in the comments, even if you're catching the replay. I know
Yes.
she'd be happy to talk to you and see your paintings and answer any questions that you might have. So awesome. Well, thank you so much, girl. And I
Thank you.
cannot
Y'all
wait.
have a blessed weekend, rest of the weekend. Y'all have a blessed time. Thank you again for having me.
You're so welcome. Oh, hold one more comment.
Oh.
Becky says, this has been a blessing.
Aww.
And she says, when I found Paint and Persevere Club, God led me to Dana. So many blessings in the last week and a half. The plus is meeting you now, Toni. Thank you for sharing and painting with us.
Oh, thank you. That blesses my heart. It's been
I
kind
know,
of a
girl.
rough week, and that blesses my heart so big time. So,
Yes.
and finding Dana has been a blessing for me too. So I think we all feel the same way.
100% for you.
Oh, well, I love y'all, and I want y'all to have a great rest of the week and weekend, and I will see y'all soon.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toni. Y'all have a
Thank
great
you.
night, and I can't wait to see your paintings. Make sure you post them.
I will post them right after I get off here. Y'all have a great night.
Okay. Y'all too. Bye.